All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me at the Shift Your Ride event today. CASE's Office for Sustainability. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Ted, for inviting me here to talk. I'm going to be talking about my role as Transportation Manager for University Circle Incorporated. I was hired last summer to implement a transportation plan, so I'll talk a little bit about the plan and some of the work that's going on now and what we expect to happen in the future with this work. So, as I mentioned, the Moving Greater University Circle Plan was a transportation and mobility plan, three-part study. The first was on parking and how, as a district, we can better manage our parking assets, looking for shared parking opportunities where there's excess capacity in one place. How can we promote shared uses? In a small district with many landowners, we have 3 major medical institutions, 3 institutions of higher learning, museums, many nonprofits. There's a lot of different travelers, a lot of different uses. So parking is a key part of looking about how people get around and how they get there. The second part looked at transportation and mobility broadly speaking. We identified 11 intersections across the district where if we change some of the road infrastructure, we have a high impact on safety for travelers of all modes, no matter how you're getting around. And then the third part of the plan really looked at how we implement recommendations going forward. Addressing any kind of transportation, whether you're a district or a city or a state, it requires a lot of collaboration. And when you work together, it's much more successful than any one act or any one institution working by themselves. So that was kind of the vision for the district leading, like a neighborhood leading a transportation plan. In my university circle, we are a bit of a unique district across the city in that we are an area of high growth. On this map, this is an aerial with building outlines. The dark blue shows new projects that are under construction. So this includes the Opportunity Corridor, CASE's new medical campus, the new North Family Greenway, Centric and One University Circle. The light blue represents planned and upcoming developments. And these are not, nothing about this is minor. Centric is pictured in the upper left. This is a new TOD, transit-oriented development, right next to the Little Italy University Circle Rapid Station. This will provide over 260 rental units, first floor mixed-use commercial space. One University Circle is pictured to the right, and that's 20 stories of rental units, so over 280 residential units with commercial on the bottom. And then University Circle Center, UC3, is pictured at the bottom left. That's right at the intersection of Euclid, Chester, and 107th. That will be a mix of office, commercial, and residential space. So none of this is minor. This only means that the district will continue to grow. There will be increased pressure on our aging road infrastructure system. And working collaboratively, we really have an opportunity to address some of our transportation challenges going forward. So as I mentioned, that second study identified these 11 intersections where we're not talking about digging tunnels or building bridges, but if we were to do things like add crosswalks or bump out some curves, make turning radii more like 90 degrees rather than these sweeping curves, we would have a very high impact on safety for people on bikes, people walking, and also people in their cars. So for users of all modes, these types of changes are very positive. The other side of that, so both infrastructure and then programmatically, part of the implementation plan is to do transportation demand management, and that's a really jargony term. It's usually abbreviated to TDM, but TDM is a program of information, services, incentives that let people know, that's kind of provided by an umbrella organization, and that let people know about what transportation options they have. And the goal is to optimize traveling by all modes that exist within a transportation network, not one or the other. So it tries to level out the information that people receive and the incentives that they receive to choose other modes. So in University Circle, I'm working with the Sustainable Transportation Advisory Committee, composed of both institutional partners in the district as well as the public sector. to advance TDM inside of institutions. So not only can we change our road infrastructure to better facilitate multimodal travel, but also look at the incentives that major employers are offering their employees to choose alternative modes of travel. So if you subsidize a parking pass, would an organization also consider subsidizing something like a transit pass? And that's beneficial to them when it lessens the demand that the employees have for parking and using valuable urban land for parking lots. Part of the work that we're also doing with the committee is to measure our progress towards our goals in shifting our rides away from single occupancy vehicle travel. So last fall was the first district-wide commuter survey in University Circle, and our goal was to baseline the percentage of employees here traveling by different modes. And as Matt Gray, Chief of Sustainability, mentioned earlier in a presentation, statewide, the city of Cleveland, the drive-alone rate is about 70%. Nationally, the drive-alone rate for commuters to work is about 76%. In University Circle, would anyone like to guess if our mode split through the survey was it higher or lower than the city of Cleveland's 76%?
Hopefully lower.
So district-wide, it was higher, according to our survey. It was about 85.5% drive-alone rate. And we are a district well connected by public transportation. We have bike share, we have car share, we have shuttles that help people circulate to get around. We're a fairly walkable district, and we're working on making it more walkable. But we do have sidewalks and crosswalks, and so these things are very embedded. And we want to leverage these incentives and really track our progress over time as to who's choosing, how many people are choosing to shift their ride. So specifically, since I'm speaking to a case audience today, I pulled out the case employees specifically from our survey. So there were 534 case employees who responded to the survey, and their mode split is as follows. Their drive-alone rate is about 70%, followed by walking, carpooling, and RTA rail. Getting dropped off is essentially the same thing as carpooling in some ways. Maybe someone else is going somewhere else. So it's interesting to see what are the second choices, to address. So there's a lot of people driving alone. We know that. What else are people doing? And by institution, we can kind of build off of the survey knowledge to implement programs that are custom to those organizations. In addition to that, we can see from the survey where people live, which also highly influences mode choice. This is the employee shed of case employees. So we can see that there are some employees that live even south of Akron, commuting to work at Case. And what would be interesting and up and coming, we can kind of overlay RTA routes or park and ride locations on a map like this and really try to identify where are there actual opportunities to choose another mode. The pink outline is Cuyahoga County, and the yellow outline is 44106, so that's University Circle zip code. And the lines you see on the map are zip code. We have data on where people live by their zip code. We also asked people what would need to be in place for you to, in the survey, what would need to be in place for you to change how you're commuting? And things like cost, travel time, availability of transit service where they live, and commuter benefits provided by their employer were really high. Those were kind of the biggest reasons why one would shift. People identified that. So again, just another nugget of information that we're using when we're thinking about what types of incentives would work at different institutions. So that's kind of, we've been working on the survey and coming up with goals and objectives for this committee's work going forward. And kind of what's coming next is that we're working very closely with NOACA to develop a subsite of the new statewide or multi-regional transportation demand management platform. We will have a one-stop shop for transportation information with a sustainability orientation for transportation information for residents, employees, and visitors to University Circle. It will be under the name UGO, so kind of the umbrella organization that is advancing transportation demand management, UGO. And through the website and the partnership with NOACA, we'll have interactive trip planning, so you can enter your origin, your destination, and you'll be given a list of mode choices for how to get there. That includes the length of time it would take, how many pounds of CO2 you would burn, and the calories burnt, and how much each mode costs. Because we know cost, and oftentimes people don't consider the real cost of driving and all that entails. So another great feature that the site will have is that you could find carpool partners. We know that carpool is an attractive option for people. So the more that people create accounts and start logging their trips through this website, the more benefit it will yield in being able to find carpool partners. So the statewide platform is called Ohio Commute. NOACA and the other NPOs across the state of Ohio are working with Ride Amigos. They're providing the platform where you can log your trips. Long term, it's really exciting for a district like ours that has a sustainable transportation plan because institutions can create their own logins and administer incentives to their employees. You can get your little avatar and start tracking how you're commuting and then receive benefits that way. So that's what's up and coming. Thank you. I'll be happy to take any of your questions. And that's the end of my presentation.